let's talk about your story and why it is so important to be the foundation of your coaching business. This is something I've been talking about a lot with my clients lately, because the longer I've been in business, the more important I have seen your story is to you standing out in potentially an oversaturated marketplace. I don't really think it's oversaturated, but coaching has blown up. Like, I started my business 10 years ago. There are significantly more coaches than there were 10 years ago, which is good because a lot of people need coaching. But especially if you are wanting to build your business online and stand out online, you need to be unique. And your story is what makes you unique. It's what makes you you, okay? And so it's a really, really important to use, especially in a day of age now where we have AI, and literally people can create content using AI, putting it in their computer and having it spit out some content. Everyone's stuff can look exactly the same. Why would someone want to work with you? How are you going to stand out? And your story and your personality and really allowing this to shine through your business is what is going to draw people to you, okay? And when we look at all the different content out there and we're like, it's all been talked about, right? Like, a million people have already talked about this topic and a million people have already talked about that topic. Like, what am I supposed to talk about? This is the thing. When you bring your unique personality and perspective and story and experiences to your content, it makes it different. And there's certain people that are going to resonate just with you. And this is why you really need to bring you behind everything that you do. Okay? So I also want you to think about, I always think about when I want to hire someone, the first thing I often look at if I'm interested in working with someone, some sort of service provider, is their story and their About Me page on their website, if they have that. I want to know who they are. I want to know why they do what they do, right? Like, I want to know all that stuff because it's important and it's part of what really makes me want to work with someone. So I think this is really, really important. It's really important to put yourself out there, to let your face be seen, to let your personality be seen. Because like I said, especially in the online marketplace, unless you are doing this, people are going to look right over you. Okay. And often, I would say 99% of the time, when people reach out to me because they're interested in working with me, I often ask, how did you find me? What made you want to reach out to me to potentially work together? And almost always I hear because they connect to me and my story and my experiences and my personality and my approach and how I put myself out there. That's the number one thing I hear over and over and over and over again. So yes, this is really, really important. And people want to know you, okay? They want to know about you. The other thing to recognize is that people are not, when it comes to coaching, people are not looking for information. You can get all the information you would ever want online, okay, right? Like, it is a huge database. You can search anything, type it in Google, and anything you want to know about will pop up online. So someone isn't coming to you as a coach to get information. They're coming to you as a coach to get a transformation, to create a transformation, a real change in their life. So the coaching process is not about just giving a bunch of information. And that also means on any sort of content you are creating, whether it's a workshop or putting yourself out there, like, if you're just spitting out information, it's not, people aren't going to care because they can go and they can get it online. Unless you are putting your own personality and your unique spin and your experiences behind the information and putting it along with the information, okay? Why? Why do you choose that? Why do you recommend those things? Why is this important for you and in your experiences, right? So it's really important to understand that. And people are also looking for connection. They're looking for someone who sees them and doesn't judge them and has been where they have been, and they believe can help them because they really get it on a very deep level, okay? This is where coaching is so, so powerful. So the other thing to really think about is that your ideal client or your niche or your target market, the person you are meant to work with, lies within your own story. We are meant to help people who are struggling with things that we have struggled with. And this is where we can really use our own experiences, our own challenges, our own lessons that we've learned along the way, the tools that we've developed along the way, and help other people, which then goes into creating a really amazing program. Okay, our program lies in our story as well, because it's the process that we have gone through, or at least a very similar process. We want to tailor it to our clients that is meant to help the people that we are meant to work with, okay? And that's why if we put out our personality, our story, like our beliefs about what works and what doesn't, and our techniques and what we do to help people, this is where the right people are going to be drawn to us. We don't have to go and chase people. We can put it out there and the right people are going to really resonate with it. Okay? So it is important to get vulnerable and share your story and recognize your story and recognize how to tell your story. And this also goes into when you're like, okay, what exactly is my story? Like, I'm not talking about the story of when you were born to where you are today, right? Like, you don't have to share that whole story. It's the story once we pull out from your story your ideal client and who you're meant to work with and what you're helping people with. And if you want more support on that specific process of figuring out your ideal client, I will link a video below this one about that process. But once you figure out where in your story, what challenge you're meant to help people with, and that becomes your ideal client, then we want to develop your story around that specific experience, right? So there may be other parts of your life that kind of come into that, but the main focus of your story is around that specific challenge and how you solve that challenge and where you are now. So for example, like I originally helped people with digestive issues and doing chiropractic, and then I was doing health coaching, and then now I'm doing business coaching. So my story now that I would share is around building my business, right? Because I'm helping other people with building a business. But when I was doing health coaching, it was around emotional eating and body image, which is what I was doing health coaching around. Or when I was digestive issues, it was around my experience with digestive issues, right? Like that was kind of the focus of my story. So the focus of my story and how I would tell my story would change according to my ideal client and what specifically I'm focused on helping people with at this time, right? Because it may change as you change, right? Like we're all on a ever-ending story or journey of personal growth. And so don't think that your story and your ideal client has to stay the same forever. It may change. It may stay the same, but it may change. And that is okay. So it's important for your ideal client. It helps you develop your program and create a really amazing program. And I have another video that I will link on below this one about that as well, about creating your program. And then the other really big thing that lies in your story is your motivation. Why do you do what you do? Why are you so passionate about it? Why are you the best person to help your ideal client? All of that lies in your story and is so important because, as I've talked about in many of my videos, building a business is a challenge. It's hard. And putting yourself out there and marketing yourself is challenging. And when you are really connected to your why and your motivation and you're excited about it and you believe that you can help people, your marketing is going to totally change and have a different energy behind it. You're going to be excited about helping people, and people are going to understand why you're so motivated, why this is so important to you. And that makes them excited to work with you if you're excited to help them, right? Like you have to have that excitement. And if you're not, then people aren't going to be as drawn to you. If you're really scared, you don't really believe you can help people, you're not really excited about what you're doing, it's much different. It's much harder to get clients than when you're really lit up about it, because it's something that's really so close to your heart, because it's something that you've gone through and you've experienced, and you have the confidence of going through it and transforming yourself. And now you're going to help other people create that transformation as well. Okay. So I want you to be thinking about your story. Maybe you go and write it down. You can pull out your ideal client from it. Once you know who your ideal client is, then you can really craft your story specifically around that specific challenge. If this is something you're really getting stuck with, you can always reach out to me. And if you work with me, this is something I specifically give you support on. Ideal client is one of the big things I see people get stuck with. And it is such an important part of your business, because it's really like the foundation and what we grow everything around, what we grow all your marketing around. But it's something I absolutely love helping people with, because it is where your unique magic lies, is in that ideal client, in your story. So if that's something you need support with, let me know. And I'd love to hear from you. Do you know what your story is in relation to your business? Do you know how to communicate this effectively? Let me know in the comments below. If you're getting stuck with it, let's work on it. And if you found this video helpful, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you want more videos like this about building a successful coaching business, go ahead and subscribe to my channel and hit the little bell if you want notifications each time I post a new video. And I want to thank you so much for joining me in this week's video, and I will see you next time.